Hello there, everybody, and I hope everyone's doing well and that you're having good weather and the holidays are not completely, totally making you crazy already. Somewhat in tune with the idea that it's the holidays, and I know that everybody's trying to do, or at least most people I know anyway, are trying to do a lot of things and get a lot of things done between now and the end of the year. I thought I would talk about a few things about deciding which projects to get started on. Now, I will say that it came out of this book, Get It Done, by Sam Bennett, and that Sam is a female Sam, by the way. Um, and there was a section in here that I just thought was kind of important, at least to consider for everybody. So I'm going to read these questions. I'll read them slowly. But before you do that, think about a project that you've got coming up or that you're thinking about doing or that you're perhaps planning on doing and you've already got it scheduled or some such thing like that, but maybe you're wavering or you're trying to figure out which projects you're going to do. So think of a project. And then as I will read these questions slowly, respond to them as yes, no, or sort of, or maybe, or, are you going to equivocate on them? In other words. So question number one, do you think you will learn anything from and enjoy working on this project? Do you think you will learn anything from and enjoy working on this project? Yes, no, or sort of. Will completing this project make a difference in your life? Will completing this project make a difference in your life? Hopefully positive, but then again, maybe negative depending on what you're trying to do. Number three, will completing this project make a difference in the world? Again, will completing this project make a difference in the world? Now, this may or may not be important to you depending on the project, but I toss that in there just in case. So in this case, it might mean something like, will it make a difference in my children or somebody else, which will in turn make a difference in the world? So you might think in terms of that, will it impact somebody else? Does your soul ache to work on it? Is this something you want to do because you've got this drive to do it? Does your soul ache to work on this project? And the last question, 10 years from now, will it matter whether you've done it at all? Now, I think you can start that one again. I think you can get the general gist of this particular set of questions because it's basically asking you, will this project matter at all? So that when you're taking a look at things and you've got other things coming up during the next week or months or whatever, how long you want to take it into the future, you've got a lot of projects that flat out you'll answer no to those questions. And so in that case, why do it? Are you doing it because somebody else tells you to do or that you're supposed to do it or some such thing like that? Will it even matter? If you've got friends that are going to give you up because you haven't dusted your floors or something like that, then what kind of friends are they and do you really want them? Now that's a little extreme, maybe perhaps that some of you might actually have friends who are like that. But the idea is to start thinking in terms of asking yourselves questions of ranking your projects on some of those priorities to determine whether you actually need to do them. Because I would just dare say that many of you are doing things that you really don't need to do, or that you maybe are supposed to do, but you really don't want to do. Now, because the key to here is that if you don't want to do them, and if you don't really see a point in it, let's say maybe there's a task that you're supposed to do because people think you're supposed to do it or whatever, or somebody told it to you. And there's another task that you really want to do, and that's what makes your whole heart sing. Which one do you think you're going to procrastinate on? Most likely the one you've been told to do. And you'll find different reasons when people say, well, have you started on it? You'll say, well, I've been busy. I can't do it, blah, 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 blah. So in many cases, when you're procrastinating on a particular project because one of those questions or many of those questions are going to have answers of no. You don't want to do it. It won't make a difference. In 5 years, 10 years, nobody's going to even know you did it or didn't do it, as the case may be. And it definitely doesn't make your heart sing. Now, I realize that many of the things that we do during the course of the day don't make our heart sings. But if the rest of the answers to that are no, and that is still no, then the odds are is you probably shouldn't even do that project at all. What's the point of doing it if you can't find any decent reason for doing it other than somebody told you that you need to do it? Do you need to put up the Christmas lights? Is that necessary? Does it make your heart sing? Will it matter in 10 years? Go through all those questions and figure out whether or not you really need to do something like that. Does this make sense? Because I think if you take a look at some of the things that you're procrastinating on and you ask those questions, you'll probably discover that the reason you're procrastinating is because you've got an answer of no's for many of those questions. Now, there might be other reasons for procrastinating, but you might seriously consider that that may be the basis for why you aren't getting something done, because A, it may not mean anything. B, who cares, basically, is what it boils down to. If you do it or not, is it just something that, well, everybody always does it, and I'm expected to do it. And will anybody actually even notice if you don't? Well, if you're supposed to be, say, like cooking the Christmas turkey and you don't cook it, yeah, they'll notice. But under more circumstances, most people probably won't notice many of the things that you decide you're not to do. If if you're the only person doing these things because nobody else is helping you, yeah, they'll notice. But is not this not the time to basically get somebody else to help you and basically say, I'm not going to do it anymore? These are just things to consider as we're going about this really busy time. Well, all the times of the year are busy. You've always got something, whether it's the summer and the kids are home or whatever. But, it might help you figure out how to mark things off your list and not even bother doing them in the next few weeks. At least that was the intent with that. Now, while I'm sort of doing this, I've got a question because I've had an idea, and that's kind of why I did this today. I've thought about doing something from a couple of books. Say, like in this particular case, I've got this book. I was thinking about doing something like picking a book and going through and doing, like, I don't want to say reading the book, but going through certain chapters of it and sharing them with you on a weekly basis, so that in a sense you read the book with me, or we go through the book so you can get the benefit of some of those things. If you like the idea, let me know. The second question is I was thinking about doing something like, in this case, it's, the subtitle on this is From Procrastination to if I could read, it would help. From Procrastination to Creative Genius in 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day. Not sure 15 minutes a day, but in a sense, like what we just did, wouldn't take you 15 minutes to ask yourself those questions and it gets yourself an answer. So those are the kinds of things that are in this particular book. I was also thinking of doing something on a book about learning, and not so much learning in the sense of how to teach you to do algebra, but learn in general, just to improve your ability to learn anything, whether it's a new recipe or anything else like that. So I'm going to ask you to let me know whether A, you'd like the idea of my doing that. And if you do like the idea, which particular path would you like me to go? And 3, I guess I should ask and toss out, is if you've got another idea, give me an idea. Because those are the 2 I was thinking of mostly, just sort of like productivity or time management or something along that line, or actually learning and education in a broad sense of the term. So with that in mind, let me know, and we'll see what happens. I probably wouldn't do this until like the new year, but to gather some of the information from what you guys want, but just let me know. And I hope this was helpful. I hope it made some of the decisions easier for you. You may not have to have an easy time explaining it to people, but made it easier for your own head. So share it with somebody if you think it would be helpful. Leave me comments and let me know, again, whether or not you like my idea. And if you don't like the idea at all, let me know that you don't like that idea of going through a book. I really would appreciate it. So that's me for the day. We will chat with you later. And don't forget that the home holiday bundle is coming up, and I'll tell you more about that later. And we will chat with you later. Bye.